Part 1. The author's preface to the reader. You may depend upon my word, reader, without any further security, that I could wish this offspring of my brain were as ingenious, sprightly, and accomplished as yourself could desire. But the mischief of it is, nature will have its course. Every production must resemble its author, and my barren and unpolished understanding can produce nothing but what is very dull, very impertinent, and extravagant beyond imagination. You may suppose it the child of disturbance, engendered in some dismal prison, where wretchedness keeps its residence, and every dismal sound its habitation. Rest and ease a convenient place, pleasant fields and groves, murmuring springs, and a sweet repose of mind are helps that raise the fancy, and impregnate even the most barren muses with conceptions that fill the world with admiration and delight. Some parents are so blinded by a fatherly fondness that they mistake the very imperfections of their children for so many beauties, and the folly and impertinence of the brave boy must pass upon their friends and acquaintance for wit and sense. But I, who am only a stepfather, disavow the authority of this modern and prevalent custom, nor will I earnestly beseech you with tears in my eyes, which is many a poor author's case, dear reader, to pardon or dissemble my child's faults. For what favour can I expect from you who are neither his friend nor relation? You have a soul of your own, and the privilege of free will, whoever you be, as well as the proudest he that struts in a gaudy outside. You are a king by your own fireside, as much as any monarch in his throne. You have liberty and property, which set you above favour or affection, and may therefore freely like or dislike this history according to your humour. I had a great mind to have exposed it as naked as it was born, without the addition of a preface, or the numberless trumpery of commendatory sonnets, epigrams, and other poems that usually usher in the conceptions of authors. For I dare boldly say that, though I bestowed some time in writing the book, yet it cost me not half so much labour as this very preface. I very often took up my pen, and as often laid it down, and could not for my life think of anything to the purpose. Sitting once in a very studious posture, with my paper before me, my pen in my ear, my elbow on the table, and my cheek on my hand, considering how I should begin, a certain friend of mine, an ingenuous gentleman, and of a merry disposition, came and surprised me. He asked me what I was so very intent and thoughtful upon. I was so free with him as not to mince the matter, but told him plainly I had been puzzling my brain for a preface to Don Quixote, and had made myself so uneasy about it that I was now resolved to trouble my head no further, either with preface or book, and even to let the achievements of that noble knight remain unpublished. For, continued I, why should I expose myself to the lash of the old legislator, the vulgar? They will say, I have spent my youthful days very finely, to have nothing to recommend my grey hairs to the world, but a dry, insipid legend, not worth a rush, wanting good language as well as invention, barren of conceits or pointed wit, and without either quotations on the margin or annotations at the end, which other books, though never so fabulous and profane, have to set them off. Other authors can pass upon the public by stuffing their books from Aristotle, Plato, and the whole company of ancient philosophers, thus amusing their readers into a great opinion of their prodigious reading. Plutarch and Cicero are slurred on the public for as orthodox doctors as St. Thomas or any of the fathers. And then the method of these moderns is so wonderfully agreeable and full of variety that they cannot fail to please. In one line they will describe you a whining, amorous coxcomb, and the next shall be some dry scrap of a homily with such ingenious turns as cannot choose but ravish the reader. Now I want all these embellishments and graces. I have neither marginal notes nor critical remarks. I do not so much as know what authors I follow, and consequently can have no formal index, as is the fashion now, methodically strung on the letters of the alphabet, beginning with Aristotle and ending with Xenophon, or Zoilus, or Xusis, which last two are commonly crammed into the same piece, though one of them was a famous painter and the other a saucy critic. I shall want also the pompous preliminaries of commendatory verses sent to me by the right honourable my lord such a one, by the honourable the lady such a one, or the most ingenious master such a one, though I know I might have them at any easy rate from 2 or 3 brothers of the quill of my acquaintance, and better, I am sure, than the best quality in Spain can compose. In short, my friend, said I, the great Don Quixote may lie buried in the musty records of La Mancha till Providence has ordered some better hand to fit him out as he ought to be, for I must own myself altogether incapable of the task. Besides, I am naturally lazy, and love my ease too well to take the pains of turning over authors for, for those things which I can express as well without it. And these are the considerations that made me so thoughtful when you came in. The gentleman, after a long and loud fit of laughing, rubbed his forehead. "Oh, my conscience, friend," said he, "your discourse has freed me from a mistake that has a great while imposed upon me. I always took you for a man of sense, but now I am sufficiently convinced to the contrary." "What, puzzled at so inconsiderable a trifle? A business of so little difficulty confound a man of such deep sense and searching thought as once you seem to be? I am sorry, sir, that your lazy humour and poor understanding should need the advice I am about to give you, which will presently solve all your objections and fears concerning the publishing of the renowned Don Quixote, the luminary and mirror of all knight-errantry. Pray, sir, said I, be pleased to instruct me in whatever you think may remove my fears or solve my doubts. The first thing you object, replied he, is your want of commendatory copies from persons of figure and quality. There is nothing sooner helped. It is but taking a little pains in writing them yourself, and clapping whose name you please to them. You may father them on Prester John of the Indies, or on the Emperor of Trapezoide, whom I know to be most celebrated poets, but I suppose they were not, and that some presuming pedantic critics might snarl and deny this notorious truth, value it not 2 farthings, and though they should convict you of forgery, you are in no danger of losing your hand with which you wrote them. As to marginal notes and quotations from authors for your history, it is but dropping here and there some scattered Latin sentences that you have already by rote, or may have with little or no pains. For example, treating of liberty and slavery, clap me in non bene pro toto libertas convitur auro at the same time. Make Horace or some other author vouch it in the margin. If you treat of the power of death, come round with this close. Pallida mors aquo pulsat pede pauperum tabernas regumque tures. If of loving our enemies, as heaven enjoins, you may, if you have the least curiosity, presently turn to the divine precept and say, Ego autem dico vobis diligite inimicos vestros. Or if you discourse of bad thoughts, bring in this passage. decorde exunt cogitationes malae. If the uncertainty of friendship be your theme, Cato offers you his old couplet with all his heart. Donec eris felix multos numerabis amicos tempora si fuerint nubila solus eris, and so proceed. These scraps of Latin will at least gain you the credit of a great grammarian, which I will assure you is no small accomplishment in this age. As to annotations or remarks at the end of your book, you may safely take this course. If you have occasion for a giant in your piece, be sure to bring in Goliath, and on this very Goliath, who will not cost you one farthing, you may spin out a swinging annotation. You may say the giant Goliath, or Goliath, was a Philistine whom David the shepherd slew with the thundering stroke of a pebble in the valley of Terembithus. It was actually 5 smooth pebbles. So that means that Cervantes does not know the Bible. I will stop reading.